Maliketh, the Black Blade, one of the most aggressive, relentless bosses in Elden Ring. And if you made it this far, congratulations, you're in the deep end now. In this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know to take him down, where to find him, what to bring, how to survive his chaos, and how to counter his Deathblade mechanics. And just like that, Maliketh is dead. If you've been enjoying this series, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It helps a lot, and make sure you don't miss the rest of Elden Ring's most intense boss breakdowns. Timestamps are in the description, so feel free to jump to what you need. Here's how this video is structured. First, we'll show where to find Maliketh, then a full boss fight demonstration. After that, I'll walk through the build I used, including equipment and incantations, and finally we'll wrap up with a strategy summary and tips for both phases. So to find Maliketh, just like my Placido Sacks video from last week, all you're gonna do is, starting from the beside the Great Bridge side of Grace, instead of going down the lift, you're just gonna come up and follow the ramp all the way up to here, which is where that Draconic Tree Sentinel will be. I did not include the Draconic Tree Sentinel in today's video. However, the same build I'm gonna use to take down Maliketh can be used against the Tree Sentinel. Maliketh is not optional. You have to beat him in order to progress the story, but this build and the method that I'm gonna use is going to be very good at beating him. Okay, so for the demonstration portion of this video, I'm just gonna hit all my buffs as usual before we go through this green wall. I will say that Maliketh is one of the hardest bosses in this game, and me personally, I think he is harder than Malenia because this fight is so chaotic. But the first phase is completely manageable, and I'm gonna show you that. It's really the second phase that gets you. This first phase can take as long as it takes for him to give you those windows of opportunity. But that is mainly what you're focusing on in the first half. When he does that, just back away from him and just kind of stay away. And then get right back at him. And if you need to, you can also use the pillar to heal up. You can kind of use the pillar as cover between you and him. He's not very difficult to fight in the first half. You just really have to pay close attention and keep your guard up. It's really the second half that's the hardest part about this fight. He is almost there too. Second half. Alright, so for this part, you want to run away and put some distance between you and Maliketh, because we are going to try and get Black Knife Tiche out as quick as possible. You really want Black Knife Tiche Black Knife Tiche is really going to be the most help during this step. But we're just gonna let the rot wear Maliketh out now. And just like that, Maliketh is dead.
To kill what?
Okay, so let's talk my build and strategy real quick here for a second. Just as an FYI, I always have the link down in the description for you to find these items. I don't always mention it, but it's always there because I'm not going to cover where to find this stuff if you don't have it. So just check down there. Now, for my gear that I had the Blood Fiend's Blood Arm plus 25, the Repeating Crossbow, the Fingerprint Stone Shield plus 25, the Finger Seal plus 25, some Black Keybolt arrows. I had the full Rakshasa set. I had the Pearl Shield Talisman, the Ritual Sword Talisman, the Great Shield Talisman, and the Curved Sword Talisman. For my Wondrous Physick, I had both the Stone Barbed Cracked tier and the Opaline Hard tier. For my summon, as usual, I used the Black Knife Tiche plus 10 as an added extra backup just in case. I had the Blasphemous Claw because it's specifically made for Maliketh, but I didn't use it in this video. And even though I didn't use it, it might be beneficial for you to use it if you should so choose. And then for my incantations, I had the Blessing of the Erd Tree, the Golden Vow, and Rotten Breath. Now, for the strategy and the whole thought process when putting this build together, it was kind of trial and error, but it worked out because of the way the battle flows. So for the first half, the whole idea was to use the shield and the Blood Fiend's arm to block and counter, and that's what all of these talismans were for, and the shield and the arm. The blood loss was an added extra to either trigger a massive chunk of damage or hit him enough with the Wondrous Physick and cause him to go down and then get a critical out of him. Either one of those would have worked. And that was the whole thought process behind that portion of this build. Now, when we got to the second part of this fight, let me back up a little bit. I skipped something. So as you saw in the beginning, the two incantations I used, the Blessing of the Erd Tree and the Golden Vow, were important for that counter damage. And also, when he was throwing rocks at me while I was blocking, he does chip damage. The Blessing of the Erd Tree was to counter that and keep your life at full and to keep this Ritual Sword Talisman in effect. When we moved into the second phase, things got a little trickier. I brought out Black Knife Tiche. I saved Black Knife Tiche for the second half because if you bring her out in the first one, it kind of distracts Maliketh and kind of defeats the purpose, and it takes life away from her, and you won't be able to get through the second half as well. So that was one reason I waited, but I used Black Knife Tiche specifically because she uses percentage-based damage like I have mentioned in previous videos, and she is very useful for one, wearing down his second half health bar, and two, providing you a distraction to give you those windows of opportunity to allow you to switch to the crossbow and build up some Scarlet Rot on him, so you can also help Black Knife Tiche wear his health bar down, because Black Knife Tiche dies very fast if you are not careful, and you don't want to be stuck trying to pick up that second half on your own. So that was the thought process with this build here. Maliketh may not be the hardest boss in Elden Ring, but he is one of the most chaotic and required. No skipping this one. If you come in unprepared and think dodging is a personality trait, you're going to have a bad time. But with the right setup, he folds. This build leans into defense, control, and precision. You've got chip healing for shield blocks, counters that punish every tantrum swing, and a summon who doesn't just distract, she deletes. Tiche softens him up with the percentage-based damage while you play goalie behind the Great Wall of the Fingerprint Shield. Play it smart, manage your buffs, and abuse the terrain like it owes you rent. And Maliketh will go down. Stick to the plan, respect the arena, and you'll take down the beast clergyman turned anime final boss just fine. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what strategies work for you or how many times you got launched into the stratosphere before figuring it out. Once again, Winks out.